Good morning. As always, before we begin, we would like to go around the room and see if there's anyone that needs to be lifted up in prayer and has a blessing to share. So, okay,
I need to lift up
Mr. Caldwell.
I got a nephew, Bailey Ayers, who was seriously injured in a four-wheeler accident about a week or so ago, and he's been through a couple of surgeries and got a few more to go, but I think he's got one this morning, actually. So keep him in your prayers, please.
Okay. This is the beginning of a new term. Let me just ask also as we pray that we lift up the commission who have the responsibility of leading this great family, and to Brad White, our executive director, and all of the staff, and Earl Glenn in this position. So, if you would, Amy, if you would, lead us in prayer.
Please bow with me. Dear Lord, bless us as we enter a new year and a new term. Bless the commissioners, our state leaders, and the MDOT staff as they commence to do the work of the people of the state, but more importantly, your work, Lord. Ease any anxiety that comes with change, as you already know what is in our hearts and what the future holds. Please be with Commissioner Caldwell's nephew, Bailey Ayers, and give him healing and comfort, and be with his family as well. As storms and winter weather approach this week, dear Lord, place a hedge of protection over all those traveling in our MDOT crews. And we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Recognition of guests. We have any? Okay, Mr. Caldwell. The person who makes Commissioner Caldwell acts correct. Mrs. Caldwell, the supervisor. Raise your hand back there. Thank you for being here and taking care of him all these years and making sure that he show up and does the right thing. Also, as chairperson, let me just say how grateful I am to the two commissioners that I sit between. We are a team, and we will be working together going forward over the next 4 years to make sure we continue the path that has been started, where we are and where we're trying to go. So with that, we look forward to working. Commissioner Busby, you're so used to calling you chairperson, but I got to make sure I don't call you chairperson now because I don't want you to get you confused. So, Commissioner Busby, thank you for allowing yourself to serve and come and be a part of us. Commissioner Caldwell, welcome back. And we'll get started with the work. So with that, approval of the minutes of previous meeting. Motion.
Motion approved. Motion is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Okay, it's been moved. All those in favor, let it be known by you, sign of aye.
Aye.
Okay. Presentation of a presentation to a person who we kind of hate to see walk out the door, but there come a time when all of us make moves and do different things. So, Amy, if you would recognize Mr. Charles Carr and make the presentation. You're recognized for a few words. Thank you.
I want to make sure that all of the people in this room who represent the real heart of MDOT understood the email that I sent out, the thanks that I want to express to all of you. Just like I've got 3 staff people from the Public Transit Division, former staff people, I'm sorry, from the Public Transit Division who are here, one of which was around when I was getting started in the job that I'm in now. Not when I was getting started. I don't want her to think that I'm throwing shade on her age by any means. But I really mean that genuinely. This has been the most enjoyable job that I've had in my 40-plus years of public service, because these have been wonderful people who tried to do the right thing for the right reason. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Very nice. Mr. Caldwell.
Charles, just while I had a good chance and everybody's here, I just want to say thank you for years of service and helping me understand some of the intermodal side of the world and all the help that you brought to North Mississippi, because a lot of that doesn't get a lot of high praise and press, but there's a lot of grateful people for what you've done across the state and especially in North Mississippi, and just wish you well on your next chapter.
I too, Charles, would like to echo what Mr. Caldwell said. You've been a jewel for back when I was a trainer. Also, listen, what you've done for the Department of Transportation. Thank you. You know you're going to do well going forward. So, thank you so much for this. Okay, that being said, we're going to the business of the day. Reconstruction. Please, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Item number 3, authorize the executive director to execute work assignment number 5 under the Hydraulic Engineering Services Master Contract with Gresham Smith to provide Phase 1 and Phase 2 bridge scour evaluations for I-22 at Lick Skillet, Gum Creek, Cypress Creek, and Bull Mountain Creek, and 2 reliefs on the listed project in Etowah County. The amount of work the work assignment will not exceed $469,333.78. Number 4, authorize the executive director to execute work assignment number 3 under the Quality Assurance and Quality Control Services for Steel Fabrication and Coating Master Contract with HRV Conformance Verification Associates Incorporated to perform the shop fabrication, shipping, testing, and coating inspection and field inspection services for 44 structural steel plate girders and related bracing and 16 disc bearings for the replacement of bridge number 210 on State Route 16 and 149 on the listed project in Yazoo County. The amount of the work assignment will not exceed $209,131.56. Item number 5, authorize the executive director to execute work assignment number 3 under the roadway master contract, roadway design master contract with Volkert Incorporated to provide Phase A roadway hydraulic design and Phase B roadway final construction plans for US 61 near Blakely on the listed project in Warren County. The amount of the work assignment will not exceed $136,000 or $136,338.07. Number 6, authorize the executive director to execute work assignment number 4 under the roadway design master contract with Neil Schaefer Incorporated to provide Phase B roadway final construction plans for the improvements to the I-20 at Flowers Interchange, including roundabout design at 3 locations on the listed project in Warren County. The amount of the work assignment will not exceed $279,508.74. Item number 7, authorize the executive director to execute supplemental agreement number 1 effective November 16th, 2023 to work assignment number 1 under the roadway design master contract with Gresham Smith to provide additional Phase B roadway design services for the widening and new location of State Route 15 from the Union County line to 1 mile north of State Route 4 at Ripley on the listed project in Tippah County. The amount of the supplemental agreement will not exceed $12,020.35 for a revised total contract amount of $94,130.60. Number 8, authorize the executive director to approve the listed utility engineering agreements. Number 9, authorize the executive director to advertise, select, and negotiate an engineering services contract to assist MDOT with the environmental stewardship and compliance program to address erosion and sediment control issues and other related environmental concerns on the listed project statewide. Item number 10, authorize the executive director to execute a memorandum of agreement between the commission and the listed local public agency in order to establish the responsibilities for the development of the following project: the Pike County Board of Supervisors. Number 11, authorize the executive director to execute a replacement memorandum of agreement between the commission and the listed local public agency in order to establish the responsibilities for the development of the following project: the city of D'Iberville.
No question there. I was commenting on item number 6. Item number 6 is, driveway interchange on 121 County. They want to comment. Commissioner Baker. This is part of the 35 of the passing amount. Sending economic development. We're very proud of that. Thanks to the legislative body for giving us the money to start this contract. This is a much needed project. It's very beneficial for the industry, in the community. So that's good. Thank you for sending money and give it. We're doing good. Okay, that takes time to fill operation. Janet Bass. Janet, welcome. You really need to listen.
Thank you. Good morning. Item number 12, authorize the acceptance of $3,473.40 from USAA on behalf of Trella P. Bozeman and James Dover as full settlement of damage to the median cable barrier on I-55 at mile marker 14 in Pike County, and authorize the executive director to execute the necessary release or other appropriate settlement documents. Item number 13, authorize the executive director to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Mississippi Transportation Commission and the city of Pontotoc for the placement of automatic license plate readers or other permanently mounted law enforcement devices on the right-of-way. Item number 14, authorize the executive director to grant approval for the MDOT litter prevention program to sponsor booth space at the following events listed below. Item number 15, authorize the executive director to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Mississippi Transportation Commission and the listed local agency for participation in the inmate litter program at a cost not to exceed $50,000 per year for the city of Jackson.
I want to make a comment again. Item number 6. This is a project we've been working on. Make a comment because very strong. This project, I think, I really haven't done this. I'm going to work on. Not to thank you and the staff for putting this together. Hopefully,
Good morning.
Congratulations on your new role.
Thank you, sir. Number 16, authorize the executive director to execute supplemental agreement number 1 with the Copiah County Human Resource Agency for the Section 5311 Rural Areas Program to support an increase in insurance premiums for the listed contract. The amount of the supplemental agreement will not exceed $52,000 in federal funds for a revised total contract amount of $425,855. The increase will continue to be funded from the listed grant. Number 17, authorize the executive director to execute supplemental agreement number 1 with the Madison County Citizen Services Agency for the Section 5311 Rural Areas Program to support an increase in insurance premiums for the listed contract. The amount of the supplemental agreement will not exceed $125,104 in federal funds for a revised total contract amount of $787,030. The increase will continue to be funded from the listed grant. Number 18, authorize the executive director to execute supplemental agreement number 1 with the Bolivar County Council on Aging Incorporated for the Section 5311 Rural Areas Program to support an increase in insurance premiums for the listed contract. The amount of the supplemental agreement will not exceed $103,918 for a revised total contract amount of $1,795,629. The increase will continue to be funded from the listed grant. Number 19, authorize the executive director to execute the necessary lien or other appropriate documents to dispose of the following vehicles. These vehicles were operated by Section 5310, 5311 program subrecipients and have been disposed of in accordance with the Federal Transit Administration's property management procedures. Number 20, authorize the executive director to execute supplemental agreement number 1 to the small purchase contract with CTC and Associates to modify the services to update research documentation for the listed project statewide. The maximum not to exceed amount of the contract will remain unchanged. Number 21, authorize the executive director to execute a small purchase contract with Local Impact Analytics to develop up to 3 FY 2024 RAISE grant applications for transportation infrastructure improvements in Mississippi for the listed project statewide. The amount of the contract will not exceed $99,925. Number 22, authorize the executive director to adopt amendments to the 2023 through 2026 statewide transportation improvement program.
Go ahead and ask if you're on the, this is the stuff that's not on the list.
We look at the Cleveland County, for that vehicle, 2017, it's normally kind of very good, normally over the 208, because that.
Yes, sir. I asked the same thing. So different vehicles through the transit program have different end of useful life durations. And this, depending on the size of the van, they have different criteria. This is one of those that does have I think it's a minimum 5-year life. Minimum 5 years life and a certain mileage. Yes, sir.
Now, you and I have had this conversation offline. I just keep looking at agendas, waiting for it to show up. How far away are we from getting the policy recommendation to us for passing lanes?
That is a great question, and I don't think I have a definitive answer for you right now. We continue to look at passing lanes, and we're evaluating them on an individual.
Question, I guess the question is, does the commission need to vote to make that happen, or is this something it's happening? I mean, I don't want to talk about it for the next 4.5 years. You know what I mean? So do we need, Brad, I guess that's a question for you. Do we need to provide guidance? Or, okay. Let me know how we're progressing on that.
Yes,
The other thing is intersection improvements at 305 in College. We were waiting on some right away. I hadn't seen that hit the list yet.
I can check on that for you, sir.
All right. And this may not be in planning, it may be in roadway design or somewhere else. Maybe somebody else needs to weigh in, but intersection improvements at 76 and 23, that's at the Corridor V site. That there's some geometric issues apparently. Or is that in your purview?
Yes, sir. We've had some conversations with our Highway Safety Division and the district and looking for potential opportunity to improve the performance. That intersection hadn't been open long, but we do have some ideas.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
I was hoping that name retired a little bit. Number 23, authorize the executive director to expend funds to Dell Tech Inc. for master spec architecture professional subscription for a one-year term ending 1/26/2025 at a total amount not to exceed $1,150 for architectural services division. And number 24, authorize the executive director to expend funds to Hubert W. Crook Computer Consultants, Inc. for computer systems engineering, systems architect, consulting services for a two-year term ending 2/23/2026 at a total amount not to exceed $356,000 for information systems division. Authorization for the work performed pursuant to this statement of work is granted under the terms of the Master Consulting Services Agreement between GuideSoft, Inc., doing business as Knowledge Services, and the Mississippi Department of Information Technology Services.
Morning.
Morning.
25, authorize the executive director to execute contracts with ATSA for the purposes of conducting traffic control technician and traffic control supervisor courses in District 6 during the period of February 13th to February 15th, 2024, at a cost not to exceed $20,000. 26, authorize the executive director to execute contracts with ATSA for the purpose of conducting operation application of truck-mounted alternators, train-the-trainer course during the period of January 29th through January 30th, 2024, at a cost not to exceed $7,000.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Number 27, ratify and approve payment of the accounts payable in the amount of $66,542,921 for the periods of December 20th and December 27th of 2023 and for January 3rd of 2024. Number 28, approve the payroll docket for the period of December 16th, 2023 through December 31st of 2023 and January 1st of 2024 through January 15th of 2024, not to exceed the sum of $5 million plus statutory withholding, state match fringe, and employee authorized deductions. Number 29, ratify and approve the commissioners and executive director salaries and expenses for an aggregate amount of $17,828.12 plus statutory withholding, state match fringe, and employee authorized deductions for the periods of December 20th and December 27th of 2023 and January 3rd of 2024. Number 30, in accordance with the Alice G. Clark Mississippi Lottery Law, authorize the executive director to issue a requisition for funds from the Lottery Proceeds Fund, which is administered by the Department of Finance and Administration, that are necessary for expenditures on lottery projects for the period of January 1st through January 31st of 2024. Number 31, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Kimbree's Cleaning Co. For janitorial services for the Forest and Morton Rest areas that will begin February 1st of 2024 and run through January 31st of 2025, with the potential for 4 one-year automatic extensions that will run through January 31st of 2029 for a contract total not to exceed $84,960 per year for District 5. Number 32, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Ultramax Janitorial Services for janitorial services for the Delma Furnace Welcome Center, beginning February 1st of 2024 through February 1st of 2025, for the potential for 4 one-year automatic extensions through January 31st of 2029, for a contract not to exceed $99,996 per year for District 2. Number 33, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Commercial Cleaning Services out of Natchez, Mississippi for janitorial and maintenance services for the Pike County Welcome Center that will begin February 1st of 2024 and run through February 1st of 2025, with the potential for 4 one-year automatic extensions through February 1st of 2029 for a contract total not to exceed $119,700 per year for District 7. Number 34, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Top Quality Cleaning Services of Moss Point, Mississippi for janitorial services for the Stone County Rest Area that will begin February 1st of 2024 and run through February 1st of 2025, with the potential for four one-year automatic extensions through February 1st of 2029. This is for a total contract not to exceed $8,200 per month for District 6. Number 35, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Republic Services out of Jackson, Mississippi for solid waste disposal for the Clinton Maintenance Office. That's to begin February 1st of 2024 and run through January 31st of 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $7,248.50 per year for District 5. Number 36, authorize the executive director to execute a service agreement with Xerox Direct through the distributor Xerox Corporation out of Jackson, Mississippi for one printer server and one station option for a period of 60 months at $234.86 per month, beginning February 1st of 2024 through January 31st of 2029, for a contract total not to exceed $2,818.32 per year for the Information Systems Division. Number 37, ratify the following emergency purchases. Number 38, request the authority to extend the following agency contract for the period of February 1st, 2024 through July 31st of 2024, pending DFA approval, and it's for Power Broom. Number 39, authorize the executive director to execute the following service agreements with Canon Solutions America for a period of 36 months, beginning February 1st, 2024 through January 31st of 2027 for District 2.
All right, question on number 32. Is that a change in vendors?
It is, that's a new contract and a new vendor. Yes, sir.
Did the old vendor bid or not bid?
We'll have to check on that and get back to you.
I'll hold that till we get that answer.
Okay.
And 37, what constitutes emergency purchase on those trucks?
So both these trucks, the trucks that were being replaced, are both over the 150,000 miles and 7-year requirement, which is in DFA's fleet manual.
Qualifies for a purchase, that doesn't qualify for emergency purchase.
But sure, yes, ma'am.
DFA contract for trucks, they allowed us to buy, say, of crew cabs only 25. So at that point, there's not a contract in place that we can file from. And so they're finding them on the lots, and we look at to make sure that it is still comparable to what we would normally buy. In addition, I think these prices are either comparable or less, in this case, they may have been less than what the contract price was.
I'm great with the price and great with the trucks, but where's my legal team?
Also the availability of it.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't
I'm
have to
a-
certain time.
I get it. Emergency purchase laws, if that's what we're doing it under, does it qualify for emergency purchase? Legal?
Yes, sir.
We've spoken with DFA on it, and because we struggle getting them, their contract was limited on what they allow us to purchase from it. We do
Robert.
have to take it to them for approval ahead of time, and they're approving these.
In the conversations I've had with Mr. Welch, the availability of when it triggers the emergency. If you don't act then, you may lose the ability.
All right. Thank you very much.
Before you leave, let me just ask one to Lisa Byron. That's on hand, how we looking?
This morning, the balance is 186 million.
Many years ago, allocation.
Yes, sir.
Legal, thank you.
Number 40, authorize the executive director to formally request the Mississippi Department of Information Technology to terminate an escrow agreement that was entered into on behalf of the Department of Transportation with Winsoft, a software developer, and Trustmark National Bank. Authorize the executive director to execute a contract with Republic Services on behalf of District 7 for the disposal of hazardous waste, particularly wood coated with creosote, at a maximum contract price of $23,379 per year. This contract is an on-call service contract for the term of 1 year with the option to renew each year until December 1st, 2028. Authorize the executive director to execute a first amendment to a title contract between the commission and Barry Zarolnik. This amendment will add a project in Rankin County and a project in Madison County, each of which contain approximately 8 parcels of property. This amendment will also increase the maximum contract amount by $44,300. The new contract amount will increase from $22,500 to $66,800, including expenses. These additional projects should take approximately 150 billable attorney hours. Authorize the executive director to execute a fifth amendment to the title contract with Christopher Howdeshell and the commission. This amendment will add a project in Pearl River County on State Route 13, which consists of approximately 8 parcels. This amendment will also increase the maximum contract amount by $6,400. The new contract amount will increase from $96,500 to $102,900, including expenses, and will add approximately 40 billable attorney hours. Upon recommendation of the executive director, issue the following limited powers of attorney. A limited power of attorney to the chief of staff for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to sign on behalf of the executive director approval of bids, vouchers, and requisitions, issue orders for supplies and materials, and to execute all other matters that may arise in carrying out the intents and purposes of Mississippi Code 65-1-10, except for the execution of contracts. All prior limited powers of attorney issued by the commission for the same purpose and or matter are immediately revoked. A limited power of attorney to the director of the Office of Intermodal Planning and Highway Operations for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to sign all notices to proceed for work under approved contracts for the Aeronautics, Ports, Rails, and Transit Division pursuant to Mississippi Code 65-1-13. All limited powers of attorney previously issued by the commission for the same purpose and or matter are immediately revoked. A limited power of attorney to the executive director, chief of staff, deputy executive directors, assistant chief engineer, office directors, division directors, and district engineers for the limited purpose of authorizing these officials to sign any written discovery responses as required by the Mississippi Rules of Civil Procedure to be signed by a party, including but not limited to responses to interrogatories, requests for productions, and other discovery matters that may arise as listed. This will be done on behalf of the commission and at the request and advice of the Attorney General's office. All limited powers of attorney previously issued by the commission for the same purpose and matter are immediately revoked. A limited power of attorney to the director of the Procurement Division for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to execute federal excise tax certificates for and on behalf of the commission pursuant to 65-1-13. And again, any previous limited powers of attorney for that purpose are revoked. A limited power of attorney to the director of the Asset Management Division for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to execute all documents necessary to transfer title to motor vehicles and other equipment, including title certificates, bills of sale, property deletion reports, in order to facilitate the efficient implementation of the duties and responsibilities of the commission set out in 65-1 of the code. And again, any prior limited powers of attorney previously issued for the same purpose are revoked. Also, a limited power of attorney for the same purpose to the deputy director of the asset management division for the same purpose as directed in subsection E. And again, all limited powers of attorney previously issued are revoked. G is a limited power of attorney to each MDOT district engineer for the limited purpose of authorizing these officials to execute routine applications for electrical services, for traffic signals and roadway lighting in the separate districts to facilitate the efficient implementation of the duties and responsibilities under 65-1. And again, all limited previous powers of attorney are revoked. A limited power of attorney to the state maintenance engineer for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to act as applicant's agent for and on behalf of the commission and the department for the purpose of claiming and obtaining federal reimbursement of costs associated with emergency response activities during federally declared disasters pursuant to 65-1-13 of the code. And again, any previous powers of attorney are immediately revoked. Last is a limited power of attorney to the state planning engineer for the limited purpose of authorizing this official to approve applications made by state and local agencies to use imagery services that have been previously procured by the department. The applications require the applicants to provide valuable traffic and transportation data to the DOT in exchange for use of the imagery services, including additions and deletions to local infrastructure. And again, any previous powers of attorney issued by the commission are immediately revoked. And the request for an executive session is hereby withdrawn and will be rescheduled for a subsequent date. District 7 happens to have a excess of particular creosote in various locations throughout the district. And that's the reason for the higher price of it is because it's got to be disposed of in accordance with EPA and DEQ regulations. So, and it's a per load price of about $950. That will afford them about 2 dozen trips throughout the year.
Before we go on the agenda, I would like to see if anyone has anything to share. Well, I don't think I'm looking, you can just see. Let me do that. That's what I'm making you do. And then, you know, you do well. Now, why you couldn't get enough time? Do I get most to approve them?
So moved, and with 32 being held out.
You're not going to do any good stuff. I need a motion to run this out. We'll take a 5-minute break.
We hadn't voted yet.
I'm sorry. All those in favor? Okay. So it's been approved, and I believe we'll take a break. Okay. Then we'll discuss and do a working on. Thank you.